Session opens. We pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for direction which will lead our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our founders. May we be granted this day the wisdom to make decisions which will be for the good of our city. We also pray for your special blessing on all those who are working to transform our city and make it a better place to live and work. Amen. If you'd please honor our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilor Kennedy. Councilor Leahy. Councilor Laurie.
Here.
Councilor Martin. Councilor Mendonça.
Here.
Councilor Mercia.
Here.
Mayor Murphy.
Here.
Councilor Nguyen.
Here.
Councilor Elliott. 6 present.
Thank you. We have a special meeting notice. Notice is hereby given as required by Rule 6 of the City Council rules that the Lowell City Council will hold a special meeting in the Lowell City Council in the Council Chambers on Tuesday, February 26, 2013 at 5:30 p.m. The purpose of the meeting is to discuss matters pertaining to the city manager, including the following that you have before you. At this point, we have first, Councilor Mendonça has requested some updates on the progress of the current year's goals and objectives. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What we've done is we've prepared a PowerPoint presentation. I believe a copy has been provided to all of the councilors that goes through the goals and objectives that were listed in the FY13 budget and gives us a status report on each one of those. So I thought I would go through those and then be happy to take any questions regarding those goals and objectives. And if we have the information, if I have that information readily available, I'll give you, obviously answer that. If not, we can follow up with additional information as required. The first object goal that we have within the budget document is in the area of government services, that the City of Lowell will operate as a best practice in customer-focused government, employing progressive policies and embracing new technologies. Whenever doing so will increase the efficacy and efficiency of public service delivery. And along those lines, we had a number of objectives that tied to that goal. The first, which we heard a considerable amount is from councilors, was to reconstruct the website, which was something that the administration itself had recognized needed to be done, and we were certainly in full support, particularly as we look at websites in other communities being updated and moved along to make it a much more user-friendly website. Along those lines, we indicated that we would have an RFP out by the end of August. In an effort to save money, we tabled the RFP and we did not issue it. Instead, we've done a majority of the work ourselves in-house. We have brought in some consultants from time to time for some technical expertise. We're now anticipating a completion date of 6/30/13, and we hope over the course of the next month to be able to bring in the first draft of that website to show that to the councilors, walk you through how it's going to look and how it's going to operate. I've had an opportunity to see it on a couple of occasions from our MIS department, and I think the council will be pleased. But obviously we're looking for your feedback once we do that to see if we can make any further improvements. So that should be happening in the next, as I say, in the next month. Objective B was to, again, to make us more user-friendly to our citizens, was to expand online capabilities and services, and specifically to implement new online payment system. That was completed on 12/31 of 2012. The biggest feature of that, or the biggest piece of that, was what's known as Invoice Cloud. It's a new online payment system where residents can not only pay their bill as they'd been able to in the past, but also to retrieve tax bill history online for free. So again, it makes it much more available to them in terms of getting information and making payments. Now, pretty much everything can be paid online: water, sewer, refuse, real estate, motor vehicle, personal property, and parking tickets can all be completed without coming into City Hall, which we're very pleased that we've been able to provide that convenience to people. Objective C was to improve the community notification process. And this would be particularly helpful for something like we recently had with the snowstorm, as well as other notifications. We had been working off a system called Everbridge, which was very attractive to us because it gave us the potential not only to contact people through automated phone calls, but also through other means. If they wanted text messages, if they wanted emails, they could sign up, but absent what they wanted to sign up for, the type of technique, we would have the ability to do the automatic ring down to people. Unfortunately, right as we got ready to move on that, they were dropped from the Commonwealth's list of vendors, which put a halt to going with the Everbridge system. We're currently looking at identifying alternatives. We did in the last snowstorm, just this past weekend, which turned out to be not much of a snowstorm, but based upon some of what we saw at the bigger snowstorm 2 weeks ago, we utilized Code Red to notify people in Back Central, as well as the East Pawtuckettville area, and some of the other smaller areas of the city that where we had a problem with people leaving cars out on the street when we had the parking ban in effect. We notified them that the parking ban was going into effect at a certain hour and notified them of where they could go to park. We felt that that was a more direct way than simply putting something out through the media, if we could actually do the ring down. It's hard to say. I haven't gotten a report really on how many people took advantage of that. It really wasn't a problem because we didn't have the snow that we had anticipated. But we did send people to the AOT after the hockey game Saturday night. We sent them to the much earlier in the day, made that available. And we also worked with the university on making the new North Campus parking garage available to residents of East Pawtuckettville and Centerville to utilize that. And we were able to do that through the Code Red system. The Code Red system is useful in that regard, but it is an expensive system to operate, more expensive than Everbridge seemed to be. In the absence of the Everbridge system or something like that, we still have the notification system where people can sign up for notifications that we can send out, and they can do that via an email on our eGov system. Objective D was to enhance performance management capabilities, and along those lines, we're continuing to utilize our Lowell program. We've actually expanded the number of departments that are covered within Lowell. In 2011 and 12, we had 5 departments. We now have we had scheduled to have 7. We're now actually up to 8 that we run through our STAT program. They include development services, parking, solid waste and recycling, parks, parking, water, wastewater, and the LPD traffic division. We were also, with the junior analyst position that we got with the state grant, we're participating in, obviously, the state, because we're actually heading this up for the Commonwealth, but we're participating in the statewide performance measurement effort. But we're also looking to implement a ResiStat program, which is a more neighborhood-based stat program, very similar to what Somerville is doing, as well as a number of other communities that have started to roll this out. We think it'll be very effective in working with our neighborhood organizations. For those councilors who've been to neighborhood meetings, you know that generally the police department are there and they can report on the crimes that are happening in neighborhoods in a defined area. We'd like to be able to roll that same type of system out to respond to other issues that are happening in a neighborhood, and then being able to do follow-up with the neighborhood people themselves. We think they'll find that to be very useful, and certainly we'll be able to have better communication with our neighborhood organizations. And also, we're putting in place a comprehensive energy analysis as part of the STAT program. As you know, we engaged in the Amoresco project, which has proven very successful and has been recognized across the Commonwealth and actually across the nation with what we've done. But we'd like to be able to monitor that on a much more in-depth basis. So we're tracking all those energy bills much more comprehensively now with the STAT program, or I should say that's what we're rolling out now as well. On our finances, the goal that we've put in place is that the city will support sound and transparent fiscal policies that provide a maximum return on taxpayer investment while leveraging alternative forms of revenue whenever possible. Objective A, of course, was a pretty simple one: continue to improve financial stability. And I think, in particular, we were looking there at what we're doing in terms of our reserves, specifically our stabilization fund. As you know, this has been an issue that the city has dealt with for some time. We had a high level of reserves in the past, and they got spent down over time. And so we've been trying to build that back up. In 2008, you can see that we only had about $1,000, just under $2,000 in that account. We'd like to get our reserves up to about 5 or 10% of our operating budget. So from 2008 on, we have been committed to improving our reserves by putting money into our stabilization fund. In 2013, we had hoped to hit $4.5 million, but in fact, we now have in our stabilization fund just under $9.9 million, which is a very good number for us, along with our Chapter 17 account that the state required us to set up when we were under the oversight board back in the early 90s. We're now close to $15 million in our reserves, which is hitting just at about the 5% level. Again, we'd like to see if we could perhaps tweak that up a little bit more to show the bond rating agencies that stability. We are optimistic that this will all be favorably viewed by the bond rating agencies this year when we go into the market. Objective B is to integrate the capital plan and operating budget. We have issued a capital budget that we're updating right now. Right now, I think we're only waiting for the school department to get us their list of projects, and hopefully we'll have that to you in March. All debts incorporated within the main debt service lines of the operating budget. We're attempting to integrate it in that manner. Objective C is to continue to hold the line on taxes. And again, I think that our goal there was to, in 2012, the way we've attempted to measure this is what our excess levy capacity is. That if in fiscal year 2008 it was $5 million, in other words, we could tax another $5 million and still stay below, still be at the Proposition 2.5 level. In 2012, we were about $6.4 million. In fiscal year 13, we had targeted $8.7 million, but in fact, now that the budget is complete, we're at a $9.2 million excess levy capacity. Between Objective A and Objective C, we've done some pretty remarkable things over the course of the last 5 or 6 years in terms of expanding our excess levy capacity to grow that gap between what we could tax under Proposition 2.5 and what we do tax, while simultaneously increasing our reserves. In doing that in a period where the state aid has been cut and there's been a certain slowness to new development occurring, although Lowell has done well certainly in that regard. We are probably one of the only communities in the state that has been able to accomplish that achievement.
Mr. Manager, Councilor Mercy had a question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the city manager. I don't want to get too far out of this because I just want to comment if we could turn back to page 3 and see financial objective A. And the first part of it, which is very small for me to see, so I'm glad that you have it on the board. On the screen, I could see better there, but I almost need a magnifying glass, you know what I'm saying?
Believe me, I know very well.
I mean, some of the others are good, but this particular one is a little bit small, so forgive me if I don't understand it.
Sure.
The first part of it is what is it, the general, it's the free cash, or what is the?
This is the stabilization fund.
Well, isn't the second part the stabilization fund too, or? It's showing the graft. Let me just say the second part, which is the stabilization graft, and we have 2013 year-to-date, you get 9.9 million in there, right?
Correct.
Okay, well, what is the next graph, 2013 target? Why does it go down to 4 million? What is
We
that?
probably should have, it should have been flipped. The target should have been before the actual.
Oh, because it looks.
We had targeted $4.5 million, but in fact, we're up at $9 million.
All right, because it frightened me to see 9.9 and then drop to 4 million. Okay.
Yes, I agree with you.
All
on
right, that's fine, thank you.
that. Good, thank you. Yeah, it's much better than that, and it's.
Okay. Sorry.
Objective D was settling collective bargaining contracts. We had settled all of our goal is to settle all of our contracts by June 30th. All of them were settled through June 30th at this point. We have 2 contracts that have been settled and signed off through June 30th of 2015, and we have 5 more that are near completion and awaiting ratification by the unions. So we're on track to get to that 100% level, assuming that we're able to reach all those agreements with the unions. Objective E was to develop long-term plan for enterprise funds. Wastewater continues to update their capital needs. Water utility updates as needed. We actually have some proposals that we'll be bringing forward with our water utility with regards to some improvements that we think would be beneficial there. The parking, as you know, you have that before you tonight. Some capital investments there with regards to the kiosk system. And then we're in the middle of, as you'll hear later tonight during the regular meeting, we're in the process now of doing a review of the parking structures to determine the capital needs there. But in terms of the enterprise funds themselves, they're very in good, healthy shape. Parking has just under $1 million. Water has about close to $4.5 million, and wastewater has $8 million in terms of their balances. Wastewater, of course, is the one that we're watching the most. We're watching all of them carefully, but wastewater is the one that we know that we have debt that's come on that's going to eat away at that. But as you know, we've increased the rates to try to deal with that, and also we're looking for continued savings to avert any additional rate increases for a longer period of time. Public safety, the city will provide services to proactively ensure the health, safety, and welfare of those who live in, work in, and visit our city. And along those lines, we have Objective A, proactive public safety programs. This includes, obviously, police and fire, but also our building inspectors, our inspectional services people. And we have increased the focus on proactive inspections. As you know, we've involved with this, the new residential inspection program that I've listed here in the 3rd bullet down. We have been training our sanitary code inspectors to use Munis to facilitate the coordination between building and sanitary. That was one of our goals when we put the Development Services Division of DPD together, is there'd be better coordination. That is in fact happening with the Munis program. And of course, we've established the Problem Properties Task Force. One area of concern with us that you'll see in the graph there is the number of inspections per fire inspector is lagging behind. There are a variety of reasons for this, but that's an area that we're concerned about, that we're trying to focus some additional effort there. Part of it's just the work schedules of the people that have bid into those positions, and there's also been some absences, and some of the inspections that have been taking place this year are more time-consuming than normal because they're larger residential buildings, but we're getting out and doing those fire inspections as well. Objective A, the proactive public safety programs. We've been trying to do, of course, quite a bit of work with our police department in terms of the smart policing efforts and community policing and working with our neighborhood groups. And the Lowell crime statistics from 2011 to 2012, as you know from a communication that was in your packet, show a decrease in a number of areas of crimes here in the city. That's a continuation of a trend that we've had over the last several years of that decrease. The only place that we've actually seen an increase in the major crime statistics is in robberies. That's up 4%. But aggravated assaults are down by 38%. There's been there's been an increase in motor vehicle thefts too. That's 18.5%, so that's obviously a concern to us. But in arson is down 18%, burglaries are down 10%, theft from a motor vehicle is down 8%, and forcible rapes are down 3%. So we've got some good news there, but it allows us now to focus on those issues of the motor vehicle thefts and robberies that, again, are part of the ComStat program, identifies those and targets those areas for our police force. In terms of Objective B, improve community outreach, we have the police department at all the neighborhood meetings. The police department has hired a community outreach liaison in March of last year that we brought on, that's now been filled to do more outreach into the community. We're also, as I said, looking for community outreach in the area of public safety with our inspectional services through that ResiStat program.
Mr. Manager, we have a few questions.
Sure.
Council Martin and then Council Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Manager, I think most of us are well familiar with the ComStat program and the police department data. You know, I mean, an 18% increase in motor vehicle thefts seems alarming, although if you follow it over a period of years, I imagine it's not as alarming, and probably the decreases aren't as dramatic either. But my question is, I mean, we all have some familiarity with that. Do we have anything comparable for fire? I mean, I noticed on the prior page you reported on the number of inspections, but is there anything about the number of calls, injuries, property damage, that sort of thing?
I do get a report on a monthly basis from the fire chief that I now I've been receiving now for about a year. We are starting to roll that out into the Lowell Stat program, but we can certainly try to put a report together along those lines that shows some of that from a historical perspective. I think that would be useful information, certainly.
All right. I mean, yeah, if it's going into the Lowell Stat, I'm happy to wait until that's ready, but I've been curious about it for a while.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Council Kennedy.
Thank you. My questions were probably similar. The 18% increase in auto theft, it would be helpful to know what the numbers were. 18% of what? I mean, if it's right, the 18% doesn't mean much unless you have the number. So if it's 18% over 100, it's a big difference than if it was 1,000, it's up 18%. You know, that's information I imagine you don't have handy, but you can get.
That's correct.
And the same question, I guess, for robberies, which I'm assuming includes breaking and entering into residence. I would imagine that that's primarily what that number is, right?
Actually, I think those would be covered more in the burglaries, the 10% decrease.
Okay. So then what would robberies be? That would be
Bank
just
robberies, stores.
okay.
From
Can we
the
get
person,
just a little more on that?
Sure.
Okay.
Council Martin.
Well, I think that the legal definition's from a person, you know, like, it's
Yeah.
a very serious thing, as opposed to an empty house, you know,
Right.
actually taking somebody's wallet or a bank or something like
Instead
that.
of a property crime, a crime
Right,
against a
right.
person, right?
Council Lowry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just going along with the increase in car thefts, the locations possibly where they are, is it one or two locations? Something along that nature. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Mendonça.
Yes, I mean, it's good that our crime statistics showing things decreasing, and that's very good throughout the city. As I attended neighborhood meetings, there are certain neighborhoods that tend to have crimes in larger number than other neighborhoods. So what I would ask is that as we prepare goals and objectives for the coming fiscal year, that we maybe come up with a program to try and address that, or to further reduce what by comparison are higher crime neighborhoods. and try to work on those to apply more resources to it, hopefully without taking them away from the other neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions at this time? Mr. Manager?
The next goal that's included within our budget is the social development, collaborating with public and private organizations. The city will support and maintain thriving neighborhoods consistent with the city's comprehensive master plan. And in that area, we have a number of objectives. One is to increase the housing stock consistent with the master plan. We've just completed a master plan, as you know, which establishes a plan for building and maintaining a diversity of housing options. So that is the first step in this objective was the updating of the master plan, and we will now be moving forward to with the development of some actual goals to tie into this objective with some numbers or some measurable, quantifiable information. Objective B is to continue efforts to implement strategies that lead to home ownership. We continue to have the home buyer assistance programs through the home program administered by DPD. We have the down payment assistance program that, and the 2 for Lowell program that continues to be utilized through DPD for people to become owner occupants of 2-family homes. And we continue to participate with the number of entities, the Merrimack Valley Housing Partnership, as well as the Attorney General's Office, on working with people that have been hit hard by the foreclosures over the past several years. So we're trying to work with those people, but also for new people wishing to buy homes, we've continued to push people into the pre-purchase financial counseling, which since 2000, there have been 900 households assisted in that and only 2 foreclosures, which we recently had the Attorney General up here that for a meeting, and we discussed this with her, and it is really a staggering number that, in a positive sense, that there's been many people that have gone through this, and only that number of foreclosures underscores the importance of this type of counseling. On Objective C, enhancing recreation amenities and programs. As we all know, we really ramped up our recreation program in the summer of 2012. We had added 130 part-time staff. This allowed for 2,285 hours of new opportunities, recreation opportunities, 1,100 participants in the recreation programs this fiscal year to date. We have been working with a number of neighborhood groups as well on community gardening initiatives, Rotary Park being the most significant, but also 3 additional gardens coming in the coming year. And of course, we've had a number of new programs that are listed here that people have found quite popular, and we include in that the ice skating at Regatta Field, which, as we all know, we're reviewing now for possible expansion in the future. Economic development is the next goal. The city will initiate and support economic development efforts that will create, attract, and retain jobs and ensure a diverse local economy. Objective A is continuing progress on the JAM plan. I will hold off on this one until the report that Councilor Laurie asked for on the JAM plan that we'll be providing in a few minutes, but suffice to say that program or that project continues to move forward with the Hamilton Canal District as well as the new Community Health Center and other initiatives. Objective B, improving neighborhood business districts and promoting local entrepreneurship. We had set a goal here for as a performance indicator for businesses assisted by our Economic Development Office. Our target for this year was 90, as set forth in the budget. Year to date, we've already hit 70 with 4 more months to go, so we anticipate that we will hit that target. We actually, total employment in Lowell has increased to just under 35,000, and that's from 33,700 in the second quarter of 2008, so it's a 2.2% increase. As the note says, it outpaces all the surrounding towns and most other gateway cities. Certainly, we've benefited from expansions at UMass Lowell and Lowell General, and those have added jobs there, as well as providing significant private sector growth that's related to that. But we've also seen a number of new businesses located in the city, and we have a couple of that we're working with right now of a sizable nature that we're hoping to be able to unveil in the next month and a half. So, we continue to bring new employment opportunities to the city. Also, we've worked with a number of businesses, and large and small. Plum Choice, obviously, is a large one that we brought over from Billerica, but we've also had a number of others like Lowell Sewing, Cortron, Lowell Bank, Tremonte Pizzeria, Sweet Lydia's, Stella Web Design, R&D Torpy, and Black Koi, to name just a few. We continue to work with the small businesses as well as the very, very large businesses that are interested in coming to the city of Lowell. Along those lines, it's not listed here, but we are also working very closely with the university, with new businesses that spin off an incubator space there that are looking for additional sites. We've had some successes there. Others, we haven't been able to quite find the space for them, but we do think that that partnership continues to be a very good one for the city. Education. The city will provide high-quality education opportunities that support and enhance the well-being and success of our students and our community. And the objective that we have here is continue to exceed net school spending. As you can see, this year we do not yet have the number for where we are with regards to net school spending. Our goal was to be at about $1 million over net school spending. I will note that 2009 marked the first time since '96 that Lowell met the net school spending requirement, and we've been, keeping up with that. It will be a challenge moving forward for a variety of reasons, and by that I mean that the health insurance, for instance, the amount that we spend on retiree health insurance for the schools dropped dramatically this year, which means that dropped off what we spend on education according to the net school spending formula, which is why we put additional money into the schools this year. Things like that, the additional state aid for education that's in this year's budget, that means that we have to ratchet up our contribution as well to stay ahead of net school spending. So it does become somewhat challenging, but we are committed to producing budgets that do continue to meet net school spending or exceed net school spending. And we're very pleased that since 2008, we've been able to do that each one of the years. Developing the after-school program, the target for that was 331. We continue to work on that, and we're hopeful that we can put something together. We have been working with the school department. Councilor Laurie isn't here, but working with the school department on combining some of our programs, recreation programs, with the school department, and we're hopeful that that will be able to come into place as well. Objective C is continuing efforts with UMass Lowell. I've already mentioned, in Middlesex Community College, I've already mentioned our partnerships. We do have quarterly meetings, senior management meetings with UMass Lowell. We've had a number of internship opportunities here at the City Hall with UMass and Middlesex. Almost every department here in the city has utilized one or more interns during the year. That is and then lastly, the Merrimack Valley Small Business Center which is a joint effort of UMass Lowell, Middlesex, and the city, as well as a number of other organizations, and where that partnership continues. Objective D is preparing for Gateway Cities Grant Program, and we did receive $365,000. $325,000 of which will go to an English language learners program for 400 plus students, and we have $40,000 to redesign the city's alternative high school program out of that $365,000. So that Gateway Cities program is moving forward, and I in fact have a meeting with the Mass Inc. people as well as that are involved with the Gateway Cities program and the school department later this week to discuss further partnerships. Objective E is exploring consolidation of some city school functions. This is an ongoing effort. We have made some progress in the area of payroll and cooperation there. Obviously, we're working closely on facilities as we implement our capital plan and our facility improvement efforts. We recently transferred one of our employees in IT over to the school department, so hopefully that will allow us to bridge some projects there. And HR, there is consolidation that goes on, and to the extent that we administer all of the health insurance programs for the school employees as well as the city employees. Objective F is continue to develop alternative transportation infrastructure. We are continuing to work on the expansion of the trolley system. We have the Friendly and Safer Lowell for Cyclists program. We've painted sharrows, as we all know, on major routes, and we've increased signage to raise motorist attention to or awareness of cyclists. A key part of the master plan ties in with this next goal, and that's sustainability, that will embrace sustainable development practices, environmental sensitivity in our unique urban setting. Along these lines, continuing progress for greater environmental sustainability. One measurable area that we were there was the recycling rate. As you can see, from 2009 to today, it has grown from about 7% up to our goal for this year was 17%. We are lagging a bit there, as we're only about 13.5% this year, which is up from 2012, but not quite hitting our target. We do have some ideas of how we can increase that as we roll out a new trash contract that we'll be bringing into the council in the next, again, I would anticipate within the next 30 days, with some ideas of how we can move that along as well. Objective B, continue to take advantage of energy efficiency opportunities, and of course we have the Amoresco project that continues, pretty much it's fully implemented now, but it was finished off during this year, and we have the monitoring initiative that I described earlier. Infrastructure is a key goal that we have as well, developing and maintaining our physical infrastructure in the way that actively supports the city's priorities. Sorry, not keeping up here. Objective A, improving traffic flow with a focus on Lowell Connector. As we know, and it's not listed here, but we had the traffic study that was done. That was a response to a motion by Councilor Elliott that we develop a traffic master plan. That has resulted in a number of intersections being redesigned and work taking place on those that was reported to the traffic subcommittee recently. We also have the NIMCOG 2012 Regional Transportation Plan that is being implemented, with including the rehab to the Plain Street bridges, which is in progress, pretty much done at this point, but the safety improvements from Thorndike to Gorham, and the Lowell Connector and Gorham Street intersection improvements that we're working on. Objective B, along infrastructure, is maintain cleanliness. I know that Councilor Leahy asked for a report on this recently, and we've provided that with ideas of what, or a report of what we're doing with regards to sweeping. We do sweep twice a year, all streets at a minimum. We are currently using the vacuum trucks in the downtown Acre and Centerville to regularly sweep sidewalks and gutters, and we're hoping, and we do some expansion of that out into the Bridge Street area. We're hoping to expand that even greater in fiscal year 2014, and we'll be developing a plan to do so during the end of this fiscal year. Objective C is, I'm sorry.
Council Leahy.
Thank you. Just quickly on that before you get by it. With next year's goals, could we put something in there for objectives to work with the businesses so that they can take on some responsibility with the city to keep storefronts and their areas in front of their stores clean, to help, a partnership to help maintain the cleanliness? Thank you.
Certainly.
Thank you. Mr. Manager.
The Objective C under infrastructure is planned for bridges with focus on Rock Bridge. We do have an RFP. We had a measurable here of developing a bridge repair plan to be completed by 4/1/2013. We will have that RFP out on March 1st. So we're lagging a bit behind there. Unfortunately, we've been doing this through our engineering office, and they've been busy in a number of areas here that you will see in a second. So we're lagging a little bit there, but it will be out later this week. And then we have the Rock Bridge corridor study that I know Councilor Leahy Laurie has been involved with through NIMCOG. There'll be public meetings held on, the third public meeting was held on the 24th of January. Objective D, and this is where we get into the area of the work that the engineering office is doing, the streets accepted. This year we had a target of 10 streets being accepted. As of right now, there have been 10 accepted to date. We have another 5 expected by the end of this year, so we will exceed our goal in the area of acceptances. And of course, this is an area that, as we all know, the city has been lagging in. that we have a number of streets here in the city that aren't accepted, that have never been accepted. The one that came up recently that I know that raised quite a bit of eyebrows was the Technology Drive, which was completed back in the late 80s and never accepted. So we got that one done, as well as a number of others. And that will assist us in getting additional Chapter 90 money into the city. So in terms of the pavement condition index, we did hire a construction inspector in January of 2013. This was included in the budget last year to help us do a better job of maintaining our roads, particularly, as it applies to street permits, street opening permits. We did have a goal this year of the pavement condition index hitting 79, which would be up from 74 last year. It's become clear to us, given the rising price of asphalt and the delay in getting Chapter 90 money out, that we're going to have trouble hitting that this year. Right now, our PCI is at 70. The engineer has advised me that the amount of money we would need to spend to bring our roads up to a much higher level than what we are now will require a large expenditure of capital money, as well as hopefully an increase in Chapter 90 money that we would have come in. It's somewhere in the vicinity of about $4 million a year that we would have to spend on our roads to really make a dent in the overall conditions. So that's something that we will be doing some more work on as we move forward. And then lastly, on infrastructure, improving city and school facilities. Of course, we've had a number of meetings on this. We did a tour last year of the schools. The number of school orders completed, we had a goal of 1,300. As of right now, we've completed 2,922 this year. Where we're lagging behind a little bit is, the number of outstanding school work orders. I have the same problem with my eyes here, that our goal had been 300. We've actually at this point hit 852. We hope to have 788 done in the near future, with 58, which are too large to be done by the DPW. But the big part of the work order system that I think we're making some real progress in is with the new work order system that will be shared by the school department and the land and buildings division of DPW, through Munis. We're rolling that out in the Sullivan School right now. There's been training that's taken place, and we think this new work order system will go a long way towards helping us manage these improvements in a more comprehensive way. And then lastly, Objective F, continuing to develop alternative transportation infrastructure. As we all know, we have 13 new bus shelters through the city. We've expanded, working with the LRTA, the Saturday bus routes. And we're working right now with the LRTA on some ideas for expanding the night routes as well. So that should improve our overall public transportation system. And as I noted earlier, the Lowell trolley expansion project is moving forward.
Councilor Laurie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Talking about the school facilities and the reports, it was my understanding the school department is down about 10 custodians, and they're working now to correct that and hire them. When you look at those, how far back we were on some of the slips, some of that was general maintenance that I thought could be done by those custodians or will be done in the future as they hire them. My question is, if that does happen and we do realize savings, one of the things I'd like to do is see the city hire a plumber and an electrician and assign them to the schools under maintenance or effort and let them keep up. We have to give the schools X amount of dollars a year. We have to. And I know they don't have an electrician, they don't have their own plumber. But if we did, and again, once they hire the 10 custodians, and it's my understanding that's in the process or will be, that's savings to us. If we do hire a full-time plumber, full-time electrician, we do assign them to the schools under maintenance or effort, that will go a long way in taking care of the other situations that the general custodians can't. And I was just wondering what your thoughts were on that.
We can certainly take a look at that and sort of run the numbers to see how that would work out, and what type of union issues might arise as a result of
Well,
it. I think that
absolutely.
right.
But, you know, we have to hire electricians, we have to hire plumbers.
Right.
But under maintenance or effort, that would be done anyway, and it would be a direct cost. We would know a fixed cost.
Right.
And we wouldn't be caught in January, or February trying to catch up. It's just an idea I have going
And
forward.
it's well worth looking into.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.
Councilor Leahy.
Just quickly on the last thought about the, the trolley expansion, what's going on with that? Or are we actually putting money into that? Or?
Well, we're not putting any city money into it. We have money that's coming through the federal government, and primarily the federal government. Of course, we don't know what impact all of this will have on with the sequestration and the federal budget issues. Right now, the first phase that's really being worked on is connecting up with the Swamp Locks area out to the Gallagher. So it's tie people, that will be very helpful in tying people into the downtown from the Gallagher. The next phase is that will take it out to the university, which is crucial to us because that's how we that's a key part of how we finance its operation, is having the university involved with it. There's much more work that needs to be done on that. Okay. So it's not something, people aren't going to be seeing any trolleys running beyond the ones we have now for a few years, but we're moving forward with the project, with the Park Service, with the university, and Middlesex Community College, to see about, and the LRTA, to see about making that a reality.
Sure. All right, I just want to make sure people don't think that the roads are much more concerned to residents than a trolley system, so I didn't want to get anybody off track that we're investing in that, not the roads first, because as you said, it's a stretch to get that $4 million a year if we can, but that's much more of a priority at this point. So
I agree completely. Okay.
Councilor Mendoza.
Well, I just want to thank you for providing the update. We're certainly making a lot of progress on a lot of these goals and objectives. They are goals, so it's understandable if there's one or two where we don't necessarily meet the goal, but we're making progress towards it. As we move forward now, we'll be meeting with you again in 3 months. And is that your plan, to have the new set of goals and objectives for the coming fiscal year?
We may actually request to do that a little bit earlier, so that because 3 months from now we'll be actually putting the budget out to you. So we'll probably be communicating before that time.
All right.
Okay. I would, if I could, just the last comment I will make on the goals and objectives, assuming there's no other questions, is I think the goal that I feel, obviously, and I know the council has heard me talk about this, and other people have heard me talk about this repeatedly, is the finances. The finances are the core of everything. If we have stable, steady finances, it ensures that we have the resources to put into the infrastructure. It gives us the opportunity to, improve the way we deliver services. That becomes really key to us, and I think we've obviously done a very good job of getting those finances in shape based upon the policies that the administration and the city council have worked on and supported over the last 5 or 6 years, as well as the cost-saving measures that we've put in place in terms of energy, in terms of health insurance, and efficiencies throughout the system.
Okay, well, thank you. I guess there's more items on the agenda we'll need to get to, otherwise I'd have a few more questions, but we can go on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions at this time? Councilor Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Manager, on that Rourke Bridge, the infrastructure, can you just explain the RFP for the bridge repair? Is there another plan to repair it? I mean, and I do see more tiles being lifted, but we just completed a repair project, right? I mean, is that state money?
On the Rourke Bridge, that's state money that's put into that. I believe the RFP that you're referring to there under that is with regards to bridges overall. There's local bridges that we're doing an RFP on. The Rourke Bridge That does not apply to the Rourke Bridge. The Rourke Bridge is more covered under the work that's being done through the corridor assessment.
Okay.
And we'll get that to bridge repair project. Perhaps a report from the city engineer would be helpful along those lines.
Yeah, that would be, I mean, unfortunately, that bridge was just repaired, and I had to count another 50 tiles on that bridge that are now dangerous, because, so, on that corridor study, the final public hearing was just a couple of days ago. Do we know what the next step on that is?
I'd say Councilor Laurie, you may, or Council, or
From
Mr. Mayo.
NEMCOG?
We will have one more meeting. They haven't scheduled the date yet, but I think the last meeting is the final meeting, but they haven't scheduled it yet,
Nothing.
Councilor.
All right, thank you. And just another subject, the net school spending, what was the amount from health insurance that we were contributing that was included as part of net school spending that is no longer eligible?
Mr. Moses, do you happen to know that off the top of your head?
It's actually not that it's not eligible anymore. It's
We're not contributing it.
we're not spending as much on that health insurance, but I think it may be somewhere between $1.5 and $2 million this year.
So we save money on health insurance, and now we just have to increase our allocation to the school to meet, and we're at 100%?
We're above 100% right now.
We're above.
Right. Of course, we're waiting for the FY13 numbers to come in, but as of 12, we were $1 million above, $1.4 million above, and the good news, of course, is yes, it means we need to spend. We free up that money in savings, and we put into schools. The good news from that, obviously, is that we now are contributing resources to the schools that they can put into programs.
Right, okay, thank you.
Any further discussion at this time? Mr. Manager?
The next item, I believe, is a presentation on the JAM plan, and I'm going to turn that over to Mr. Bakey to walk you through a PowerPoint on that, which, again, the PowerPoint is in front of you.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. Before I get started, do we only have 7 or 8 minutes? Because I'll go really fast if I need to stay within that time.
We only have 8 minutes. It's up to the council how they...
Well, I will try to give you an update quickly on the JAM plan. There is a handout that was put on all of your desks this evening that summarizes the progress of the JAM plan and also illustrates it in the form of a map, which will overlap with some of what I'm presenting here if I have to go too quickly. The first slide here just reminds everyone why we have a JAM plan, what some of the conditions in the area were like back in 2000, which was not all that long ago, but so much has happened that it's hard to remember just how deteriorated and decrepit the neighborhood actually looked before we started. Since 2000, when the plan was adopted, the projects under the JAM plan have involved $189 million worth of private investment, generating 480 new housing units, 683 new full-time equivalent jobs, and importantly, more than $560,000 in new annual property tax revenue. And that is only the new taxes that have come directly from new projects and redevelopments. It does not include background growth, nor does it include the fact that improving the overall conditions in the neighborhood has likely improved the value and therefore the taxes that come from buildings that haven't been directly touched but merely are in the neighborhood. So obviously the investment that the city is making in that neighborhood, if it's returning that kind of money every year to the city budget, is very much a worthwhile investment. Just the last time we did an update to the City Council in a comprehensive way about the JAM plan was 2011. Since that time, this is just a few highlights of some of the major projects and a couple of smaller ones that have happened. The biggest among those from an infrastructure perspective is the complete transformation of Jackson Street and the construction of the new Canal Street Bridge. From a private perspective, probably the largest buildings certainly are the Appleton Mills and the Lowell Community Health Center that have both come online, representing over $100 million worth of investment just between the two of them. The Hamilton Canal District itself remains the centerpiece of the JAM plan. I think you all are very familiar with the goals and objectives of the Hamilton Canal District. but just to remind everyone some of the highlights of what we do expect from that development, and we're already starting to see. It is a 2 million square foot mixed-use development with over 400,000 square feet of new commercial space, the first 54,000 square feet of which should be available later this year. Over 725 housing units are going to be built in the district. The first 130 are already online. That's in addition to the new $175 million court that's going to be built as a civic monument. And I think importantly for the council, the project when finished is projected to generate over $4 million in new property taxes. And the Hamilton Canal District itself is already returning to the city more annual property taxes than was the case before we started the project. So even if we do nothing more, the project will have been a net increase in property taxes to the city. Again, the Appleton Mills major project, the sort of before and after of what's happened with that. 110 Canal Street is the office building that's currently completing its core shell work, which should be done in the next few months. And I'm happy to report that the developer, Trinity Financial, is currently in relatively serious negotiations with 2 prospective tenants, and a couple others have expressed an interest in the building as well. So I think we'll hopefully have some good news in the coming months about folks being ready to move into the building. If you haven't seen it, it is really a spectacular transformation. As you can see, unfortunately, the after picture is not quite as good because the light conditions weren't as great as we would have liked. But you can certainly see that's a dramatic change over in that area. Once Trinity completes work on that and gets that building leased up, they're going to turn their attention to the first new construction buildings in the district, which are going to be 2 residential buildings that will fill out the Appleton Mill Yard between 110 Canal Street and Loft 27, right along the Pawtucket Canal. There'll be 130 additional housing units built there. Trinity's target is to be able to start construction sometime toward the end of 2014. The trial court building is also now, as a result of the state putting the design funding in their capital plan. The trial court project is now definitely moving ahead. They expect to be hiring a construction manager later this calendar year. And then they're expecting the building to be open somewhere 3 to 4 years after that. So that's very much on track as well. One other piece that is not as visible that the city is working on and actually requires a tremendous amount of attention is the process of actually finishing the assemblage of the Hamilton Canal District as envisioned in the master plan. If you look at the map on the left there, the blue area at the top is not actually owned by the city. That's the National Parks parking lots. But as you can see from the map on the right, that is part of the future development. The National Park Service is on board, both locally and also nationally. We've actually had to go and obtain congressional legislation to create the authority that allows the National Park Service to divest of those parking lots for development. As you can imagine, that's not something the National Park Service typically does. You don't see people building buildings on the Grand Canyon. So it's a little bit unusual for them, which is why it's been complicated. We're now in the process of beginning negotiations with the park and with Trinity to figure out a way to effect the appropriate land exchanges that will be necessary to make that district complete. And that's pretty critical because those pieces of land are necessary for the construction of some of the major commercial buildings down the road, as well as the construction of the parking garage that will facilitate the more intensive later phases of the Hamilton Canal District. I bring this up because I believe we will be coming to the council sometime in the next several months with some required action steps associated with that process. Of course, just to remind everyone what is down the road in terms of what the full build-out of the Hamilton Canal District will look like as a result of all the efforts that I know many on the council, particularly those who have been around for a number of years, have been focused on and working hard toward for some time. So how's that for a very quick tour of the Hamilton Canal District?
Very well done. Councilor Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Do you know what the status is of that legislation? Is that legislation pending, or is it in a committee, or what? Do you know that?
The congressional legislation?
Yes.
That has passed. And we owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to both Congresswoman Tsongas and Senator Kerry, who shepherded it through their respective houses of Congress and getting anything out of Congress in these days is really difficult. So that was a tremendous accomplishment.
And so since it's passed, what has to be negotiated with the National Park Service?
The actual land exchange itself. What the legislation was required for was that the Lowell National Historical Park did not have the legal authority to convey any of their assets. So they could not sell or trade or exchange their land with the city for this purpose without the legislation giving them the authority to do so.
Right.
Now that they have the authority, they still have to actually do it. And that's the part we're in right now is working out the terms. And what the terms really essentially mean are that they need to exchange real estate of equal value with the city. And importantly, they need to receive parking in exchange for the parking they'd be giving us, because that's ultimately what they need for their visitors as well as some of their staff. And so we're working through the details of what that will mean. And we'll be, when we have more answers, frankly, about the specifics of what an exchange might look like, that'll be a better time to talk about some of those details.
So the legislation then didn't give the land to the city, or it allows for the national park to negotiate?
That's correct.
Still quite a ways to go, but that was just the first step, and that's...
It was just the first step, and it sounds, I realize we're almost belittling it in describing what it is, but that was a tremendous step. I mean, when you think about the national parks in general, the idea of taking any land that's owned by the National Park Service and basically divesting of it for the purpose of development, that is a very challenging concept for them. And so getting that through this process was you can't underestimate or understate the value of that.
But my understanding is the National Park Service they're on board with doing this, right?
Correct. Yeah, they are.
And so will it be a swap? Is that how that's going to happen?
That's the expectation. Again, we're still working out what the details will be, but that is the expectation.
And what would we swap?
We would either swap some form of real property that provides them the ability to replicate their parking. That may be parking in one of our parking structures. That may be rights to some of the parking in the future parking garage that will be built in the Hamilton Canal District. It might be surface land where parking could be created. We're still working out, as are they, what they want and what we have that's available.
Do we have a plan? Do we have an idea of what it is that we're likely to swap?
We actually have several different options that might work. And that's, the ball's very much in their court to give us more details about what they're interested in, so that we can then tailor what we have available to align with that.
Would you prefer I not ask any more questions about specific to what exactly it is that we're...
You can ask as many questions as you like. Unfortunately, I don't have all the answers, but the ones I do, I'm happy to give you.
Okay, thanks.
Not quite as many, because we do have a regular meeting to get to, being after 6:30. So, what's the wish of the council? We still do have a number of items. Councilor Kennedy.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, in the interest of time, what I would move that the 6 items that I have on the agenda be postponed until the regular city council meeting of March 5th.
Okay. Motion by Councilor Kennedy, seconded by Councilor Lowry. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted. Motion to adjourn. So moved by Councilor Mendonça, seconded by Councilor Lowry. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? We stand adjourned for a minute.